Namaste, namaste, good evening. And today we have amazing pa- participant with us, Dr. Paritosh Basu. Welcome to Upskill with Abhishek, sir. It's an amazing time to have you here.
Thank you.
Wherein tons of experience which you have, which today, of course, we're going to leverage. We're going to use your expertise and knowledge. And to all our viewers who are listening us in the podcast or in the YouTube, Dr. Paritosh Basu is a digital gospeler. And looking into his age, he's still fresh with knowledge, amazing amount of expertise on blockchain, central bank of digital currency, AI, and he has chaired many blockchain summits. And also, he's a doctorate, he's a PhD, currently a senior director with Stragility Consulting Private Limited, an adjunct professor with IM Kozhikode, a senior professor previously with NMIMS, and CFO in previous roles, a fellow chartered accountant, and also a cost accountant. So I think, sir, the kind of laurels, the expertise, the years of experience you have, if I keep telling them, I will short of time. But I welcome to you to the wonderful conversation with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, sir, my first question goes to your book. I know you have authored many case studies along with Ivy League institutes and professors, including that of Harvard. And you've also authored book on digital transformation. So your purpose, your message while writing that book, and how it can help Indian youth, Indian the diaspora to take leverage out of it.
Thank you, Abhishek, first of all, for inviting me to this podcast. And I don't know whether I'll be able to do justice to the kind words you have spoken about me, but let me give it a try. First of all, I didn't have any intention to write any book on digital transformation, honestly speaking. But since 1994, I had a very high level of interest in computerization. So when digital technology started becoming popular, somewhere around 2014, I started reading about this. Although I have not sat even for half an hour in any technology class. I started reading about it, and I found that nothing is getting into my head. Anything about digital technology or something I heard about Satoshi Nakamoto's blockchain and this and that. Around that time only, I got some call from some organization. Dr. Basu, you were speaking to our forum for so long on computerization and finance. Why don't you try to do something on digital transformation? Then again, I started reading and started talking. Around that time, I read quite a lot of books on digital technologies. So in the back of my mind, I always had an idea that the way these books have been written, we finance professionals perhaps will not be able to understand, because those are most technology-oriented books. So I thought that something should be done. Around that time only, the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, one of my alma maters, they came up with a very interesting idea. Dr. Basu, why don't you write something for CMS? We are starting a column called Digital Transformation in our monthly journal. It's a UGCKL listed journal. So they gave me a mandate for writing 12 months. Mm-hmm. After I wrote articles for 12 months, I started posting in LinkedIn. I started finding that not only CMS, but non-CMS from people from other corners of professions are also reacting to my post. By the time I am through with 12 posts, writings, then the institute advanced it by another 12 months. Then by another 12 months. And this is now I am on the 5th year of writing for this column in a row. All 49 articles I have written so far in a row is except 3 months. Of course, where no institute journal did not publish any article of any CMA professional. Now the book, how the book came. Around that time, things came in my mind that these journals are lying here and there. And of course it is there, but people should get it in the form of a book. It should be in the library, because the way I got frustrated by not getting a good book in my hands. So similarly, maybe my management students also will feel bad. So what I thought that I should be calling it an anthology. So the articles of mine, which were or papers of mine, all my papers are kind of quasi-research papers. Because when I wrote about drone, I talked about balloon, aerial unmanned vehicle. So the institute decided that they will publish my 30 articles in a book in the form of an anthology. And that is the book which came, Digital Transformation, A Prismatic View. Why I say prismatic view? According to me, a prism gives you the rainbow colors. Similarly, digital transformation has also many colors. And now the book has become popular. It is there in almost all IIM libraries and all very many management school libraries. Institute has spread the book amongst various government institutions. And most probably the second edition of the book will be coming up. And as I kept on writing on digital transformation and digital technologies, my writings became more in-depth, more research came in, more application orientation came in, my own thoughts started coming in. Because as you may be knowing that I have a software invented by me and my team members, which is lying registered in the US Intellectual Property Organization as a software ready for patenting. So software generation and writing or contributing original into the world of computerization was always in my thought. And thus the book came. And I'm now working on my second book, Central Bank Digital Currency.
Oh, CBCT, of course, we know that pilot is going on. In fact, I like many of us, I also participated in the retail CBDC pilot with one of the banks. I find very interesting. I find CBDC very interesting. And what's your thoughts, sir? Especially the way we are looking to digitize, and of course, we have leveraged a lot from UPI. But with CBDC coming into play, which is a very replica of hard currency in electronic or digital form, using blockchain, do you think that CBDC is going to revolutionize the digital payments after what UPI has done?
Abhishek, this answer would be slightly longer.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back to Web 1. Post 1970, when we first received the World Wide Web, we called it an information economy, right? Between information economy and Web 2.0, which is platform economy, around that time we got the great financial crisis, meltdown due to subprime crisis, right? Around that time, that gentleman called Satoshi Nakamoto came up with a clarion call that we want to be liberated. Our financial liberation should be there from the central bank's control. So they said that we want to be the controller of our own destiny. We don't want to be under the controllership of financial systems by any banking regulator. So they started cryptocurrency. And what happened subsequently to the world of cryptocurrency, you know for certain. Many people burned their fingers, many people lost their life, many people became billionaire. And at the end of the day, it was a zero-sum game like stock exchange. But that particular Satoshi Nakamoto's invention of a platform-oriented currency management system gave us new idea. In my first article on digital transformation on blockchain came up in June 2018, you may be knowing. And I chaired the first World Blockchain Summit in 2018 in Moscow. Subsequently, I chaired a couple of more. And my first research paper on blockchain came in December 2018 in All India Management Association research conference. Now, let me tell you, I saw in blockchain something different. What I saw in blockchain, because around that time, some of the team members of Satoshi Nakamoto came out and said that why we cannot transform blockchain into a transactional platform. Because blockchain has got huge amount of capabilities, huge amount of features, which are way different and way superior than any ERP system, because there is no governor. The governor is the smart contract. Smart contract takes care of all compliance requirements, all legal and regulatory issues are covered, all rules and regulations are scripted, all KYCs are done, immutable, auditable, it is encrypted, and all kinds of benefits are there. I saw in it a lot of benefits. So if you see my first paper in December 2018 in AIMA, I talked about blockchain from the perspective of three things. One, shared benefit for all.
Yes.
Across societal level under the sun anywhere in the world. Inclusive growth for inclusive smile, for inclusive happiness. On that day when I was talking about and studying about blockchain technology 2016, I kept on understanding that what Satoshi Nakamoto started as a movement in the form of a financial virtual digital asset that movement can be perhaps hijacked by the world of information and communication technologists. And that is really what is blockchain you see today.
Yes.
Blockchain has got thousands and thousands of applications. I have written many things about it, right from sowing a seed by a farmer to his selling of the harvest to government or corporates. Everything can be done end-to-end management in blockchain. Right from sowing to a physician to your heart transplantation, everything can be through a blockchain. Crowdfunding can be through blockchain. I've spoken about all these things in various conferences, etc. And I have also spoken about crowdfunding. Point I'm trying to make regarding blockchain is that blockchain is not an impact creating technology, which most of the digital technologies are, or operation technologies are. Blockchain is, then it was thought that it will be a transformational technology. Transformational technology means AI is a transformational technology. Human brain machine interface is a transformational technology. Then drone is a transformational technology. Neurocomputer is a transformational technology. There are many transformational technologies which transforms the way you perform, transforms the way you work, transforms the way you derive your results, and you guide your work and strategies. According to me, at that point of time, I read an article by some Harvard scholars that it could be possible that blockchain technology could be a foundational technology. The moment I read that article, the article was just created a fire in me. And I started researching out, I started applying my mind, I started writing on blockchain, I started interacting with people all across the world in various conferences. And today, blockchain has now really been proved that it's a foundational technology. World Economic Forum has said that by 2030, 10% of the world GDP will be transacted to blockchain. And the number would be around $3 trillion, and the benefit would be roughly about 10 to 25% benefit will be created. That means the money that will be saved by blockchain technology, if that much money, if we can share with all for benefit of the lowest strata of the society, think of how happy we can make the world about. Last point, linking it to CBDC. Central bank digital currency is supposed to be, and in most of the cases of countries where 101 countries are already engaged with it, 11 has launched and 21 are in pilot. India is on pilot. And I'm also holding a central bank digital currency account in my smartphone.
Yeah.
Now the point here is when I was reading about blockchain technology implementation sometime in 2017, 16, 18, a new thing came called new coin issue. You remember?
Yeah.
New coin issue. Everybody who is doing something on blockchain is issuing a new coin. Right now, you remember? Like I remember there was a Healthura coin issued because it was a healthcare blockchain. Correct. So people thought that if I have to do a platform-oriented blockchain application for any transaction, may it be supply chain, may it be exim supply chain, may it be healthcare, may it be anything and everything, I have to have my own cryptocurrency, because without cryptocurrency, blockchain transaction is not possible. And within the blockchain platform, we will not be able to settle the transaction. That is, everything will be done, but the payment and receipt cannot be done. Even international payment also cannot be done. Around that time, I was reading about central bank digital currency. According to me, the whole world has been proved wrong, and the naysayers and opponents on CBDC have been proved wrong, that if CBDC comes into the picture, implementation of blockchain would be that much easy. It means that you don't have to issue your coin.
Absolutely.
You can have a bank as a participant within your blockchain, one or two or more banks, even international banks, and they can be the settlers of the transaction in terms of financial settlement, including lending, including investment, including non-fund-based lending like LC, etc., etc. So according to me, blockchain coupled with CBDC, which is again administered to blockchain, is a very, very unique combination. And I have no doubt about it anymore that it is going to be the foundational technology. Two things we have to be careful. One is the scalability. Second is the KYC. KYC issue has already been solved. There are IBM has already come out with solution. The scalability issue, I personally feel also will be solved with 5G coming up. There should not be any problem whatsoever. But Abhishek, one point of caution.
Yes.
And that point of caution is that such a protected technology of the world can be subjected to hacktivist cyber criminalism if quantum computers falls in the wrong hands of cyber criminals. Because as you know, what a normal computer can do in 10 minutes, quantum computer can do in less than fraction minute. That means something which can be done by 10,000 years by a computer, and a quantum computer can do in 10 minutes. Right. In that kind of a situation, the biggest safety net of blockchain technology is even dynamic encryption. Correct. Will be a problem, and encroaching it by the hacktivist would be possible. Last Delhi conference on 23rd November, I was talking to some people from Netherlands and Switzerland. They were talking to me and saying, Dr. Basu, this is not going to be a problem because you have now elevated blockchain from a database of transaction to a really double signature transaction process where you are getting into private key. So if your blockchain ecosystem, 10,000 or 20,000 private keys are to be hacked. By that time, blockchain also will be able to create through quantum computing a much better protection mechanism. Yeah. So according to me, I don't want to keep things open. My suggestion to Government of India, and for that matter, any government of the world and multilateral agency, please, right from the beginning, control production and usage of quantum computing. Otherwise, blockchain will not be able to deliver what we are expecting to deliver.
Yeah, no, I think it's so nicely captured because this topic is so in-depth, insightful, and so intriguing.
One can talk about 6-8 hours on this topic.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. So in fact, sir, since you talked about the regulatory aspect also in between, there was a conference I also attended which talks about the FinTech Festival and how the intersection of blockchain and FinTech can supplement and come together. And there are also very similar points which you said it was a driving force, saying that whenever blockchain came into picture in our world, everybody was quite receptive to blockchain as a technology. But whenever it comes to cryptocurrency, virtual digital assets, the regulators were very, very choosy about it because of course, the reason of anonymity, the possibility of who is dealing with it, what are the KYC implications, what are the transaction happening, are we having money laundering rules and regulations to control what is happening. But I think with the changes in the taxation regime, and with also the new certain circular on how the virtual digital assets have to operate, and now finally giving the names of those 25 crypto exchanges in the parliament that they are registered with FIU, I think now the overall
apprehension. I am not worried about it. Let me tell you, I have recently written about a combination. I've recently written a paper on combination of 5 things. One is Web3, fragmented ownership, digital twin, tokenization, and creation of capital asset. All this combining together for a country like Bharat, where thousands and thousands of tons of fruits are getting rotten because of no cold storage or no warehouse. Farmers have to throw the tomatoes on the roadsides because they are not getting even 10 paisa a kilo. In this kind of economy, what we talked about virtual digital assets, we can create wonder about it. Honestly speaking, by 2 things. One, by fragmented ownership of assets which will be created by people of the village. And world has shown it to us. We'll talk about crowdfunding if you have a question in your kitty for this. But world has shown it to us that the combined power of people can be a much better power of a district administrator or a government administrator or a central government administrator. So virtual digital asset through tokenization can be a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful item. And for that, we need not be worried that any law will be broken, because smart contract is such a powerful tool which can be scripted into the governance system of the blockchain. We need not be worried about it. What we need to be worried about is the will of people and the startups of India coming up and creating solutions for it. Right. I am looking for a couple of people like you who will be approaching people with me that they will create organization who will come out with solutions for fragmented ownership of public assets, which are India needing today. All of thousands of people giving small money can create a cold storage. They don't have to go to government darbar and go there for 10 days and de do a cold storage, Bhagwan ke naam pe do. Nahi. We will create our assets to fragmented ownership. Absolutely. And I don't agree with those learned colleagues of mine who say that these are issues. These are not issues. Issues are in our mind. We have to do it.
Rather, we are there because we have to solve, and we are solution providers, not the problem seekers.
We are, first of all, let us not be solution providers. Let us be thinkers. What problems we can solve to make blockchain as a foundational technology to change the societal foundation and economic foundation of India.
So I think that since you talked about the transaction, I'd like to share a little bit. I was studying in IIM Calcutta, and we were doing a case study where I got to know that one of the large supply chain company, initially when they were selling the, as you said, the fruits, when they used to sell the fruits, the customer used to complain that I got the rotten fruits and they got stale very fast and they decay very fast. And the company were never used to able to identify and trace back who was the supplier, who was the seller. But when they did the blockchain technology, in the matter of 3 to 4 seconds, they were able to solve the customer complaints that why and from which supply unit the apple was provided or the fruit was provided, which was stale. And I think with this blockchain implementation, they could bring.
It is called track and trace solution. Abhishek, it is called track and trace solution. Suppose sitting in a city of USA, you are drinking Sula wine. Yes. If you scan the code in Sula wine bottle, you will be able to know which farmer at what GPS point grew the grapes.
Yeah.
So till from the farmer growing the grapes till you drinking and enjoying the wine. Everything can be tested.
So entire supply chain end to end till the consumer is catered to, and that's how you reduce the wastage. That's how you save the cost. That's how you make people accountable. That's how you serve customer better. That's how you become more responsive company. So to your point, just goes on proving the fact that it's amazing transactional technology, the facility we have. So moving forward, since we have a lot of agendas to cover, and I know time is short. So with respect to crowdfunding and crowdsourcing, which is sort of catching up. And I know you are doing a lot of work on accounting and reporting in terms of blockchain, CBDC, and crowdfunding. But to sort of pick on crowdfunding, what are the key pointers or highlights which you want to share with us?
This answer of mine would be not very long because the subject is very easy and simple. You have heard about the squirrel who helped Ram in building the Setu between India and Lanka. So that was the first element of crowdfunding from Indian epic. After that, we have Homer's Iliad. It was translated to English by people who were very eager to read, Englishmen eager to read Homer Iliad. They got it translated by crowdfunding. A gentleman called Joseph Pulitzer in 1885, when the Statue of Liberty came to the New York City by sea, there was no money to build the pedestal. You know this story, na? In the city of New York, the pedestal was built by Joseph Pulitzer, who was an editor of an English newspaper then. He collected money from people. That was a crowdfunding. As late as July 2015, a 400-meter long bridge was built in Rotterdam by crowdfunding. So, and in Indian story, people say it's an unconfirmed story that Dhirubhai Ambani's textile business first started and funded and helped by people around the community of Dhirubhai Ambani. That was another source of crowdfunding. And that is perhaps what driven Dhirubhai Ambani to become the doyen of Indian capital market. I had the benefit of working with that group. Now, the point I'm trying to make is in crowdfunding, it is my original contribution. I'm doing a research with a professor of Alaska University, US, a professor of New England University, Australia, and a professor of IIMK, and I am the principal researcher of this project. We are trying to prove crowdfunding as the fourth financial asset class after equity, debt instrument, and mutual funds. We personally feel that Indian youth population, if you give them 10 risky ventures, and if they invest in 10 ventures, little money, and if 8 or 9 out of them fail, and 1 or 2 out of them give 300 to 400% return, they will be able to good money about it. Keeping that in mind, I wrote an article which was published And then I converted into a research paper. We administered a questionnaire, empirical questionnaire. We got 600 response. We ought to eliminate because of incomplete response. And finally, we have worked on 471 responses. We have tested 9 hypotheses. All hypotheses have been correctly found out. And now we are of the view that after this paper is now almost ready for submission to a very top grade journal of the world, if they accept. And we will approach SEBI and ministry. And I'm no hesitation to talk in this public forum. I'll be heard by people. Will approach SEBI and ministry to recognize crowdfunding as the 4th asset class in India. If we can open an MSME exchange, why can we have a crowdfunding, blockchain-based crowdfunding platform for risky and startup funding by people who are willing to fund them? It will be right from positioning and showcasing your product to funding and then selling and buying of the financial instruments. There we have talked about equity, loan, convertible loan, and discount against future products. That means the startup need not pay back the money. They can give discount or give distribution ownership, distributorship right. So we have talked about many options in that. Our paper, hopefully it comes out very soon. And I'm very hopeful, Abhishek, that I've talked to a couple of my lawyer friends. They will help me. And I'm very hopeful that recently we have read that startup funding has also reduced in India. And we are not seeing much more growth of unicorns and unicorns. I'm very hopeful with our paper coming up, we'll be able to do a positive contribution to Indian world of startups.
No, absolutely, sir. Yeah, it's your initiatives and creating that right benchmark is going to help us. Sir, with this, we have hardly few minutes left, but before closing and wrapping, I have this beautiful book by Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar ji on leadership from page number 1 to 75. Any your favorite number? I will
13. Page number 13.
13.
13.
13. So in 13, we have this beautiful message on leadership. It says, whenever you have an important decision to make, you should wait for a few seconds, take a couple of deep breaths, and then decide. I will again repeat, sir. It says, whenever you have an important decisions to make, you should wait for a few seconds, take a couple of deep breaths, and then decide while making top leadership decisions.
Abhishek, this is a pile of wisdom I must accept. And for any matter of life, whether it is a leadership decision or any decision, you should not take in a haste. You should give a little bit of rest to your brain, think thoroughly. If you have suffered some time, and then take the decision. And when you are asked to do deep breath, you are asked to gather energy within your body and mind. But this is absolutely fine. And many of us practice this perhaps because our daily life has taught us this, and Gurudev has given us this part of wisdom. But I believe in my mother. Yeah. My mother used to say that if you have to be a good business leader, when I came to the business world, she told me all this. She said, you have to be first a good human being.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to be a first good human being, and you have to honesty. If you are a good human being, by nature, you'll be an honest person. I have no doubt about it. But by nature, an honest person may not always have honesty of purpose and professional honesty. Sometimes we have seen people who in their personal life are very honest. In their professional life, they don't have professional honesty. There are examples galore of it. I don't want to quote about it. So you have to be a good human being. You should be having an honesty of purpose. You should be having a professional honesty. Believe me, when I used to take any decision as a CFO or conquer any decision in CFO in Reliance Communication, I never used to think from my perspective or Reliance perspective or even 45,000 employees of the Reliance company's employees perspective. I used to think that I have 5 lakh channel partners, 45,000 employees. So about 5.5 lakh people have got 4 stomach to feed.
Absolutely.
And you can think of, you are taking decisions which will be directly, indirectly impacted by your societal and business ecosystem. But at least 22 lakh people will be impacted.
Absolutely.
Their stomach will be impacted, right? So how can you afford to take a hasty decision? How can you take a decision without honesty of purpose as a business leader? How can you take a decision without an honesty of professionalism with you? And how can you be a good leader without a good human being? And if you have to be a good human being, essentially you have to be a cool-minded person. And if you have to be a cool-minded person, you have to take deep breath and you have
Absolutely.
to gather yourself before you take decisions.
So nicely put, sir. So nicely, we are almost done. Thank you so much for a wonderful insight. I had a
Thank
great
you.
amount of time with you, sir. Thank you so much for coming in. And of course,
My
we'll stay in
pleasure.
touch. And all the best knowledge which you have, of course, reaches to the maximum, and they also benefit with the right intentions, which you are doing great job. So thank you so much.